Good evening. My name is Eddie Brown, and I am the presenter for Team 7 for our Chapter 7 review of Taking Control of the Sale. Um, in this chapter, they spoke of many things, but one of the key subjects was three misconceptions about taking control, right? So, misconception number one talked about um, taking control being synonymous with negotiation, being a misconception. Challengers often taking control across the entirety of the sales process, not just at the end when it's closing time. And one thing they talked about is when the customer has already pretty much made his mind up, but is really going through the final stages of the RFP process, and you may have to come in and you may be assigned to a junior rep. One thing that the book spoke about in chapter 7 is being assigned to a junior rep is and not the decision maker of who makes the final decision for the sale is necessarily not a bad thing. This is an opportunity and a door to create an advocate within that company. One of the things that the chapter went into is when no progress is being made with the junior rep, in essence, getting a little bit more information and background and intel about the company and the request for RFP, is to really kind of decide to make a decision to cut the sales process and really move on. One of the things that relationship builders versus challenger reps often tend to do is relationship builders tend to lean and react, right? They let the customer lead. Challengers tend to lead and simplify. They really are teaching the customers how to buy their product. Misconception number two, reps often take control regarding only matters of money, right? So relationship builders allow the customer to lead the commercial terms of the deal in fear of potentially halting progress of closing the deal. Challengers often review and inquire about the business and how their view of the world pertains to their business. The discussion often leads to the form of commercial teaching in a sense. So the chapter kind of went into the challenger has a unique ability to reframe the way the customer sees their business in the current environment. And oftentimes, intense situations, questions come, and relationship builders tend to try to avoid those tense questions, while challengers lean into those. They really get excited for those questions. Misconception number three, reps will become too aggressive when we tell them to take control. So people can confuse taking control in an assertive way as aggressive. An aggressive person pushes ideas onto others. An assertive person knows how to become constructive rather than aggressive. So a challenger rep is really respectful in that manner and knows how to push an idea onto a customer without coming off too strong. Equipping the reps to take control. Challengers know how to navigate closures. They are comfortable in when talking to a customer. Challengers are able to hit their objectives when having conversations with the customers. The DuPont case study kind of went into detail on controlled negotiations roadmap. We want to push customers in an assertive way, but not aggressive, right? And the need to take control through creating constructive tension, challenging the way a customer sees their world and pushing back constructively. DuPont case study went on to go into details about the key to taking control at the negotiating table and to have a plan. DuPont provides the reps with situational sales negotiations template for planning. And a template is a proxy for the challenger reps to do naturally. It forces salespeople to plan out practice scenarios. Components of the situational sales negotiation methodology ask the reps to note relative power positions of the supplier. They gather relative strengths and weaknesses, provide reps with a sense of value that the company brings, and think of information you need to specific to the questions you need to get, right? So brainstorm difficult questions. It kind of gives you gives you the ability to do that pre-call plan before sitting down across the table from the customer. And then, the DuPont control negotiations roadmap with the anatomy of the successful negotiation. And this is a Bay Group international methodology. They touched on the acknowledge and defer, right? So a game plan for when customers request price concessions. So it gives you a chance to acknowledge that the customer's request and get a little bit more information on that, but then tend to defer that in a respectful manner and attempt to go to the next step, which is deepen and broaden, right? And this is a technique that they talked about, which is it's really used to uncover the real needs. Why are you? What are you? What is your real goals? And if you get a little bit more into the exploration, right, and then you compare options based on the new information received to understand the customer's real needs. And then it gives you the final step, which is providing something like a trade, right? Something of low value option that is viewed in the customer's very high value in order to hold pricing standpoint. And then summarizing it up, the book written talked on a word of caution, which is again driving home that taking control happens throughout the sale, not just at the end. Making powerful requests to allow the customer to understand the seriousness of the proposal and to send a message that moves the sale along. And then also just pulling it together with the it's extremely important to understand clarity of the direction over the closure of the sale and create value in the sales process. So once again, thank you for allowing us to present, and look forward to more in class.